If you've been collecting Mattel Jurassic figures as long as I have, there are certain releases that feel bigger than just another dinosaur on the shelf. The Hammond collection's Scorpios Rex is one of those figures. When Mattel first announced it, I think a lot of Camp Cretaceous fans had the same reaction I did. Finally. For years, Scorpios Rex had been one of the most requested dinosaurs in the collector community. It wasn't the biggest dinosaur, it wasn't the most famous dinosaur, but it was one of the most memorable creatures the Jurassic franchise has ever created. What made Scorpios Rex so special in Camp Cretaceous wasn't its size or strength, it was the fact that it felt wrong. When the campers first encountered it, you could immediately tell this wasn't a normal dinosaur. It wasn't even a refined hybrid like Indominus Rex. This thing was unstable. Its body looked malformed. Its behavior was unpredictable. It moved like an animal, but felt like a monster from a horror movie. Even now, years after watching the series, I still remember those nighttime jungle scenes, the glowing eyes staring through the darkness, the strange sounds echoing through the forest, the poisoned quills, the panic every time the campers realized the creature was nearby. Scorpios Rex wasn't designed to inspire awe like the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It wasn't designed to be elegant like the Velociraptors. It was designed to make viewers uncomfortable. So naturally, when Hammond Collection announced their version, expectations were incredibly high. After spending time with this figure, I can say Mattel got a lot of things right, but they also missed a few opportunities that could have made this one of the greatest Hammond Collection releases ever. Let's start with the positives. The first thing that stands out is the overall silhouette. The moment you place this figure on a shelf, there's no mistaking what it is. The long arms, the awkward proportions, the spiked back, the hunched posture, it instantly captures the presence of Scorpios Rex. In fact, I would argue that shelf presence is one of this figure's biggest strengths. When displayed alongside Hammond Collection Indominus Rex and Indoraptor, Scorpios Rex immediately tells a story. It feels like the missing evolutionary step between those two creatures. Looking at all three together, you can almost imagine Dr. Wu experimenting, making mistakes, learning from failures, and eventually creating more advanced hybrids. For collectors who enjoy building displays that recreate the lore of the franchise, that's a huge advantage. The paint application is another area where Mattel did a solid job. Scorpios Rex was never supposed to be colorful or attractive. It was supposed to look unhealthy and dangerous. The darker color palette works extremely well here. The subtle shading throughout the body helps emphasize the skin texture. Under good lighting, the spikes along the back cast shadows that make the figure look even more intimidating. From a distance, it genuinely resembles the creature from the show. The sculpt itself also deserves praise. There are a lot of small details hidden throughout the body that become more noticeable the longer you look at the figure. The uneven proportions, the rough skin textures, and the exaggerated anatomy all help communicate that this is not a naturally evolved animal. This is a genetic disaster. And honestly, that's exactly what Scorpios Rex should look like. Now let's talk about articulation. This is where things become a little more complicated. The figure has enough articulation to create several dynamic poses. You can achieve aggressive attack stances, stalking poses, and some display options that look fantastic in a collection. However, compared to some of the best Hammond Collection figures, the articulation feels somewhat limited. The neck is probably the biggest disappointment. Scorpios Rex in Camp Cretaceous constantly moved its head in strange and unsettling ways. It tilted, twisted, and lunged at angles that made it feel unpredictable. Unfortunately, the figure struggles to recreate some of those iconic moments. The range of motion simply isn't as impressive as many collectors hoped. Is it bad? No. But for a premium collector line like Hammond Collection, expectations are naturally higher. The head sculpt is another topic that has generated a lot of discussion among collectors. Depending on the angle, the figure can look absolutely fantastic. But from other angles, the oversized teeth become impossible to ignore. Many collectors have pointed out that the teeth appear larger and thicker than they should be. Once you notice it, it's difficult not to see. This is probably the most common criticism you'll hear regarding the figure. Personally, I don't think it ruins the release, but I do understand why some fans were disappointed. The actual Scorpios Rex from Camp Cretaceous had a uniquely disturbing face. It looked unstable,
almost like its own genetics were fighting against it. The Hammond collection version captures part of that feeling, but not all of it. A more screen-accurate head sculpt could have elevated this figure significantly. Quality control is another area worth mentioning. Like many recent Mattel releases, experiences seem to vary depending on the specific figure you receive. Some collectors report tight joints and excellent stability. Others have encountered loose limbs, slight paint issues, or minor alignment problems. My copy was relatively good, but it's something potential buyers should keep in mind. Now here's the reason why, despite all of these criticisms, I still genuinely enjoy this figure. It captures the character. And sometimes that's more important than technical perfection. When I look at Hammond Collection Scorpios Rex, I don't immediately focus on the teeth or articulation. I remember the show. I remember the fear this creature created. I remember the campers running through the jungle. I remember the poisoned quills. I remember the feeling that this wasn't just another dinosaur. This was a failed experiment that never should have existed. That emotional connection matters. Some figures can be technically perfect but completely lack personality. Scorpios Rex is the opposite. It has flaws. It has imperfections. But somehow those imperfections almost fit the character. Because Scorpios Rex itself is an imperfect creation. It's a monster born from mistakes. And that's exactly why it became one of the most memorable creatures in the Jurassic franchise. When collectors talk about the greatest Hammond collection figures, names like Spinosaurus, Therizinosaurus, and Tyrannosaurus Rex often dominate the conversation. I understand why.